This trip was made possible by Affinity Photo. It's a photo editing software ideal for professionals and amateurs alike. Adjust exposure, create layers, prepare shots for the web, just some of the thousands of functions you can use. I've been using it for the past couple of years and find it's quick, easy to pick up and no subscription fees. So why not check them out in the link below. Richard Shucksmith is a marine ecologist based in Shetland, but also an award-winning photographer. His work includes many of Shetland's well-known species, but Richard also works beneath the surface. I met up with him to talk about underwater photography. So you've been diving hundreds, thousands of times, is it fair to say that?
It is, yeah.
Have you got one encounter that stands out for you?
If you really had to pin it down to one experience, and I wasn't actually diving, I was actually snorkeling at this point, was actually last year managing to photograph a humpback whale underwater.
Wow.
Like I think it was said to be one of the first humpback whales to be photographed underwater in the UK, but actually we found out afterwards, I think there was one in about 1970 or late 70s which was photographed down off the south coast.
There's always one, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. So we might have to stop saying that. But yeah, to actually get in the water with a great whale, you know, the great big humpback whale in UK waters in my own backyard and manage to see it and photograph it underwater was something really special.
So it's good that you mentioned the humpbacks because they're a classic example of how conservation can be helped by photography, because wasn't that humpback found a little bit further away than Shetland?
Yeah, it was really interesting this last autumn in Shetland. Well, it was actually November, December. This group of sort of four humpbacks in Coalgrave Sound, but we think at one point there could have been up to 10 different humpbacks around Shetland. These four particular humpbacks spent probably about 5 weeks in Coalgrave Sound, and obviously that time of year in Shetland we get a lot of windy, rough weather, so we were all looking for calm days, and I was away this particular day in Bryden. Good friend and colleague got a calm day and got out on the boat and managed to photograph one of the tail flukes really well. So then he sent it off to several researchers to get a match, and actually they found a match for this particular whale right down in the Caribbean, and it turns out it's the first record for the UK of a humpback travelling all the way down to the Caribbean to where it breeds or gives birth. So it was a first really for the UK, and it was a great way of showing how photography can help understand science and movement of animals.
I think it's good because I think people often just associate photographers as trophy hunters, almost going out to get all these shots, but it's nice to see it being used as a tool for conservation.
Yeah, I think photography is very powerful in many different ways. Like the trophy shots, we all try and get trophy shots. I suppose that's probably the majority of photographers want to do, is go out and nail a great shot. But I think there's been a big shift in the last few years, going from sort of more trophy hunting type shots, if you'd like to put it that way, or creating one-off great images to sort of telling more stories. So creating a group of images what tells a really good story about a habitat or about a particular environmental problem or an ecosystem or a species.
So Shetland's full of all these amazing wildlife, but the last couple of years the orcas have really been showing well, because they've always been here, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't know, like it's an interesting one. Like, have orcas been showing well the last 2 years, or have we all just become, because of the onslaught of social media, we've all just become a lot more aware of it? Actually, with social media we all get a chance to see it. Like before, it might be some fisherman or someone walking the coast seeing an orca, and you know, how do they tell anyone? They don't, you know, or they might message a few friends and then it just gets lost. But with social media now, like the Shetland orca sighting page has about 10,000 members, so, and if anything gets sighted, it's posted on there instantly. So, you know, instantly 10,000 people can suddenly see that there's orcas, you know, going through Lerwick Harbour or going around. So it's become a lot more accessible for everybody living on Shetland. And I must admit, it does seem like these last couple of years, last summer was amazing summer, and we've just had an amazing 10 days really here in Shetland.
I was watching them just up the coast not long ago. I mean, amazing to see them.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Like killer whales, like they are a top predator of the sea. They're most amazing animals, really. There's nothing else which they have no predators. There's nothing actually attacks or does anything to an orca. Orca, I think, is the only marine mammal, as far as I know, which will actually attack sharks.
The other day, I was surprised how many people there were. People running out the shops and like crazy down to the coastline. And you don't have to have a pair of bins either. They come quite close, don't they?
Oh no, you almost, like I call it orca mania. Like it just goes crazy. The island does. And they're that close sometimes you feel like you can reach out and touch them. They're that tight to the shore. And actually, just talking earlier about phones, one of my best experience with orcas was when they came around this headland and ended up in this little gully, sort of a 5-metre gully between the shoreline and this island. So there's just a gap like this, 5 metres wide. And they ended up in this gully, and they were too close to photograph with my camera and my big lens. I'd run down there with a big lens, and then I thought, well, what can I do? And all I can do is film them on my phone, and so I used my phone to film them, and got some amazing footage. It was really great because they kept spy-hopping to see what I was doing. So they just sat there in front of me, 4 of them going boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it was
so
really
basically,
good.
if you want to photograph orcas in Shetland, get on social media.
Well, basically, yeah, because like you couldn't run a tour in Shetland. The problem is they came here. They was here for maybe 5 to 10 days. Really good sightings most days, and then they were seen a week last Monday, and they've disappeared since then. And there's the odd report of them offshore, but apart from that, they're not in the coast, like not in close enough for people to watch. So it's really hit and miss. People would say to me, "Oh, let's come to Shetland. We want to see orcas." And you're a bit like, you just need a big bit of luck to be here at the time of year when they end up on our tight in at the coastline.
You've just got to come and hope for the best, I suppose.
Yeah, you have. The best thing if you're going to come to Shetland is don't come for orcas, come to see the otters, the seabirds, the wildlife, the beautiful seascapes, the wildflowers, and then just hope the orcas turn up while you're here.
Well, look, it's been fascinating talking to you, Richard. So,
yeah, no, good to meet you, Jack. Very good.
Thanks for watching. Tune into the next film. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and like, share and subscribe. Until next time, cheers.